Oh, hello guys. Happy to have you here back on my Crunches webinar. And probably you have seen the first part of it. And yeah, because I just want to share you my favorite popular webinar. I just made it completely brand new and typed it down for you. So let's get behind the secrets and find out what's up with the abs, what's up with the belly, what's up with the core, and yeah, our topic today is how to get the core strength you always wanted by skipping the crunches forever. That's why you are here, and I hope you're super curious. And thank you for subscribing. My name is Julie, and if you don't know me, I am a personal trainer and a sports scientist, and I do this over 15 years already. So I have loads of experience with clients, and I work with athletes. I'm an athlete myself. So just that you know with whom you are talking today. So let's get behind the secret. Probably you have experience with your own app and core exercise program. And I'm sure everyone has a question about why to do this or why I don't, or why is it not working, or do I have this pain or that problem. And probably we will get behind this after a second. But first of all, the biggest question is um, the biggest question is why the hell is everyone talking about the core while we're not talking about the feet? Actually, we should do that. But the core has become more popular since almost everyone should know that the core is important for a lot of things, for your entire body, for your entire health. And that's one thing why we want to talk about this today. And the problem, what I see people face usually is why I don't get rid of the stubborn fat. Why can't I look like Heidi Klum? She already has I don't know, 5 kids already. I'm not sure about that. But how can she or all the other Victoria's Secret fashion models look like super thin, and you don't even think about that they have been pregnant, that they have been carrying a baby around. They have a super flat tummy. You can see the abs. They look absolutely fantastic. But why they can do it and why not you? That's the biggest question, and I'm sure we will answer that in a few minutes. One thing is, why is it the last fortress? So the last fortress you are conquering. When you, for example, you reduce fat, you have lost loads of kilos, and you still got the stubborn fat around your belly. So that's another question. So even though people get successful and they reduce their weight and they reduce their body fat, there's still something left, which is around the belly. Why this? And why, number 3, is it so important for athletes? So in case you're an athlete, doesn't matter if you do triathlon, if you're a runner, doesn't matter if you play beach volleyball or I don't know, any crazy sport you can do. Whatever you do, you definitely need your core strength to get better in your sport. So how come that this all is together in this one tutorial today? I will talk about that and I will lift the secret. But first of all, I will quickly get you an answer on these topics. One is the stubborn fat around your belly is there because it has a good reason. Remember, there was a time before smartphone, before sitting in an office like 10, 12, 15 hours a day, coming home, sitting on a couch, eating some fast food or some food someone else prepared for you, and so on and so on. There was a time before, like billions of years ago, where people were running through the forest. They were running and moving in these super low aerobic levels, so where they produce um, enough power from the oxygen they have. So we call it aerobics, aerobic exercise. That's why the aerobic scene started in the 80s, because they thought, okay, if I'm moving in these medium low level, then I can definitely get rid of my fat. So that was kind of saving energy. So what actually happened is that we're not moving anymore, and we don't have to save and protect the fat people needed billions of years ago, because they had food today, but probably not for the next couple of days. So there were a lot of time in between where they couldn't eat. And the reason why we keep the fat is just for surviving. Okay? So there is a reason. Why do I tell you this? Because I want you to get off the resistance. It doesn't make sense. So understand that there is a reason from your body, so you understand what you have to do to get rid of this belly fat. Second thing, to get back to Heidi Klum, forget about that. You don't see what they're doing. You don't know if they're really just working out, because of course you can get rid of all this and you can get super beautiful abs. That's not a problem. You know that it's possible. But the thing is, in what time? And another thing is, what else are you doing during a day? What else are you doing during a week? How much stress do you have? How much time do you have? How many hours are you sitting? How many hours are you moving? And if you know all these things together, then you know why things take time. Of course, you can be super strict and do everything like, but things, there's a saying like, the grass doesn't grow faster if you just pull on it. So some things take time, okay? And the athletes, go back to number 3. Athletes need core stability just to move better, just to improve that technical skills, okay? So that's basically the 3 things we want to talk about, the 3 things which are typical, classical issues I will be asked every time over and over again. And I want you to show how important it is to understand how the core is working, like how do we burn fat? How do we stabilize our core, and for what? Okay. What do people do wrong? This is important because you need to know this before you know how to do it right. And most of the things I see like every day, and I'm discussing with people about this every day, because people see, okay, he's doing that. And people say to me, all right, 99% of the people are doing crunches, side bends, sit-ups, ab-targeted exercise, twisting, and so on and so on. Of course they do. Yes, you're absolutely right. But it doesn't mean that they are right. And then this is the thing they should do. There's always a big gap between what people think they should do and what they actually need. You understand me? Okay. What do people do wrong when they do all these exercises? What is the thing what all these exercises has in common? You put unnecessary pressure on your back, on your spine, on your system. And you think you do good because you think, I'm working on my core, I need some core muscles to stabilize my back, to stabilize my core, but you probably harm more than doing good, okay? And you have to understand how the body is working to understand why this doesn't make sense. Isolated machines is another thing. Isolated machines, isolated exercise per se is not bad, but you have to understand what is for what. So everything is so complex that I stay focused on this one thing to talk about just about our topic and not going to all these other things. If you're curious about that, just stay tuned. I do some more webinars and I will talk about all these things step by step through. But isolated muscles or isolated exercises, the same thing, doesn't bring this thing, this setup you want to. You want to move, you want to run, you want to be flexible, you want to hit the ball, you want to be fast, you want to be reactive. All these kind of things you don't learn if you just sit and work out isolated. If you had an injury, if you had an accident, if you want to do a complex exercise and there's just one tiny thing missing, for example, you want to do a pull up and you miss some arm power like your biceps or whatever, then you can do isolated workouts just to get to these masterclass workouts. You understand? But it's not something you should do at all the time. Just to or plan your workout in that way to work an isolated muscle, because the body is complex. I think in chains, like anatomy trains, you probably heard of that. If not, then you have to understand that muscles are not isolated. It's like a team. They're working together. Like we have a middle line in the center, at the front, at the back. We have cross lines, all these kind of things you will understand. So you will understand if you have a problem in your shoulder, you probably have a problem in your feet, or the other way around. So just to give you an idea how complex the body is. So isolated muscles don't make sense in general. Here they don't. That's why I have written down machines. Machines is usually the same things. You just work on one joint. This is isolated workouts, and this is the same thing like I said before. The machines, actually, I know, are not the machines who are really bringing the results you actually aiming for. Quality means what are you doing and in what way? Better, less than more is my opinion in general. That means that if you do long workouts, you're completely exhausted, your coordinative system is not working in a really, really effective way. So if you do long workouts, if you do the workouts over and over again, but you don't do it in a good, high quality, forget about it. Okay? If you get tired, you can't hold whatever exercise, your body will find a way to get these things done. But if you really work the core, in this case, you want to work for, I don't think so. Okay, but what are the apps are really doing? That's the question we are discussing now. The main reason why we have core muscles is to give us a stability in the middle. If you really think about it, you understand the leg is moving, the arm is moving, the head is moving, but the core isn't. Okay? So it's a protecting system. It protects the spine. If you flex, you also extend. If you bend, you need an antagonist to get back to the original posture. You have organs, inner organs. Probably remember most of the animals, or the time when we have been crawling on 4 feet, we had another attacking area. But now we have to protect. Here we have the core and the ribs to protect the heart and to protect the lungs. And around the belly, we don't have any bones. So the core muscles are the only fortress, is the only way to protect our organs. So you can see that if people don't have a really good worked out belly, then the organs are growing to the outside. So you have this round ball belly, which is actually terrible for your health. It's a big, high risk factor for cardiovascular diseases. Okay? And what a lot of people don't know, we have the visceral fat, which is between the organs, and which is it has a reason. Why is it there? It has a reason to protect us, protect the immune system, help the immune system to stay, to keep our body healthy and everything. And there's, if you have a non really healthy lifestyle and your sleep is bad, the quality of your sleep is bad, you have a lot of stress, you produce a lot of cortisol, and you have bad movement patterns, probably you don't move at all, you don't do any sports, no fitness, and then on top you also eat bad, you have an unhealthy lifestyle, then there's a high chance that your visceral fat is growing. It's not necessary that you can see that. Even super thin people have that. So the only way to figure that out is to go on an in-body scale, which is working with electricity, and you can definitely figure out how much your visceral fat is. And that's another thing which you can't see, but it is definitely part of the belly. Okay, what do you understand? Static muscles need to be steady workouts. Okay, what do I suggest instead? Of course, this is the question at the end. If you understand, what do people do wrong? What is actually the reason why we need core muscles? And how is everything working? And now, of course, you have the question, what shall I do instead? I will answer this question. It's super easy to understand now that you've gone through all the other stuff with me together. One thing is, work the core in its natural way. Okay? You get the maximum results if you work the muscles in the way they needed to be trained. If you have a static muscle, you need to work out in a stabilizing, static posture. Right? So that means, for example, you can do a plank. I always grasp this example because it's so totally clear. Everyone knows how a plank is working. You put your hands on the ground, you keep them placed directly underneath your shoulders, and you can do also this version. But actually, this is not important. Important is that you don't move. You don't bend, you don't squeeze your core to harm your spine. You know, all these crunches, all these bending exercises, they're squeezing your core muscles. They're squeezing every organ inside, and they're squeezing your lungs, and they're harming your spine. And usually people who can't stand it, they will get a problem and they say, okay, this is the reason of the exercise. Yes and no. Yes, because I would definitely avoid doing anything like crunches. Maybe you tell me now, okay, but what if in the everyday routine I need to bend down and, I don't know, grab something from the ground? That's totally true. And this is why I'm a big friend of holistic movement. But if you have a stable core, then this won't happen. But most of the people aren't fit. Okay, so if you have a healthy body, this won't happen. Okay, nobody is going to activate its core because there's the pencil on the ground. But what we do is when we lift something heavy, then we do it automatically. But that's another thing. So what shall you do? Planks. Other exercise. Lay on the ground. Keep your spine protected. Keep your core at the mattress, keep it at the ground, and try to feel the pressure. Try to feel the activation. So most of the clients I'm working with are not able to keep their spine on the ground. Do this now. Try it. When I'm talking, lay on the ground, not later. Do it now. Do now. Go on the ground, lay flat on the back, place your feet close to your body, and try to bring this little hole below your spine flat on the ground, not bending your hips. Okay. Inhale, exhale, breathe. Relax your shoulders. Relax your pelvis. Just work on your core muscles. This is a little tiny movement. If you're just did crunches and bendings all the time, then you're used to work with the hip. So there are many exercises like also lifting the knees, and you're working loads with your hips and with your pelvis, but less with the core. So for a core exercise, it's not the exercise only. You need to activate extra. Okay? Activation. If you're in the gym, you have a workout from, I don't know, 5 to 8 or 10 exercises. If you do every exercise correctly with activated core muscles, you don't need to train at all. You don't need to train your core at all. That's what I mean. Okay? This is super important. If you have a healthy lifestyle, if you have an activated core, as long as you know what this means, you don't need to do any core exercises ever. And I'm telling you one thing. The best things take time, but then they're brilliant. The fast muscles, fast build up core muscles, they're never the same like some you really worked long term. You really worked hard on. If you work on like a year, or probably not a year, probably a little less, but everything longer than that makes yourself from the deep down core muscles really, really strong. Believe it or not. Okay? So in general, let's put everything together, and then we have finished. It's like core muscles are for protecting. Core muscles are static. Work out core muscles in a holistic way, doing a plank, work with your entire body, but do it in a static way. Okay? If you want to know how to work out the diagonal ones, do a plank, lift your arm, keep your feet on the ground, your head is a long way along your spine. Smile and hold this for 1 or 2 minutes without moving at all. And I'm sure if you do this regularly, you will get a flat core. You will get definitely better in your sports discipline. And you will be happy about that, and you won't get any problems in your back. But this was a really short overview. Back problems, pain, tight hips, it's another issue, okay? If you can do a workout, it's always up to how flexible you are. This is just an overview. If you need some more detailed information, if you need to know what's actually working for you, where should you start? You shouldn't start with step 10 before you didn't do step 1, okay? But what is step 1? You will learn that if you work with a coach, he should see you moving, and he should know what's your step number 1 and how you can reach your level. And it's very much up to if you're a beginner, if you're advanced, how's your situation? Are you a sportive person? Are you doing any other disciplines? Whatever you are standing now, you have a different approach. That's for sure. I think I took a lot. If you have any other questions, please come and join my Facebook group, and you can figure out where you get help, and you can text me all the time or ask the community. And I'm very much happy that you subscribed and you're now a little bit further, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar, and that's what I have to say for today.